Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
Call to order select board special meeting. Are there any additions to the agenda? Routine administrative matters and or pressing matters that will require ratification at a future meeting. Public comments on items not on the agenda. We have one item on the agenda. Oh. Okay, moving right along. Item number 1, V-Trans Pedestrian Improvement Grant Resolution of Support.
Test out this microphone in this spot over here, so just to make sure we got everything captured for the regular meeting once we're back into the meeting. So basically what this is it's a matching grant application. We're looking at the intersection on Rockingham and School Street. Basically where the old YMCA building is and where we have a lot of pedestrian traffic crossing to the Central Elementary School. We do get complaints about people not paying attention to the flashing stop signs there and potentially creating problems for the crossing guard and pedestrians. So what this would do is enhance that area with 2 of these solar powered rapid flashing beacons, which are again, MUTCD approved. They do have sort of they're a higher, they put the crossing universal crossing symbol at a higher level. It also flashes when people want to cross. So it creates sort of a double visual for drivers. So hopefully people that are coming upon that intersection, especially when it's busy with students and parents and other people, will pay attention and hopefully will avoid anybody having a problem in that intersection. So our potential cost here is, if we're successful in the grant, is just to match, which will be some highway maintenance. We'll do some of the work to prep the site. We'll have to improve the ramps for ADA compliance, as well as then regrading and making sure the grass is back once we do the new rapid flashing beacon. So the total that we would be between highway funds in our town in kind would be $15,000. So if that's an item the board would like me to submit and go forward with, then all I would like is just a resolution of support at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we authorize the letter of support for the Vermont Trans Pedestrian Improvement Grant and authorize the manager to sign any and all documents. I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor would signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
You have the warrants, as well as these are the liquor licenses that we had approved that we haven't signed. So.
Okay, so you to review and approve orders, bills, and warrants.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Come on.
Other business? Ben?
No.
Stefan?
Other than the reminder for town meeting on business meeting on March 1st, Monday night, here at the Opera House, and the holiday balloting on Tuesday, March 2nd. A little different this year, so hopefully people are paying attention and need to request their absentee ballots and need to do that as soon as possible. There should be a warning posted in the paper going out, so people will at least see it there. So the warning will be posted on the articles to be voted on a Australian ballot.
We lost Susan Hammond.
Those are off of our meeting.
I would like to take a couple minutes face to face and thank Ben Mashur for his time here, for stepping up. It's I don't follow the whole history, but he's got to be one of the youngest guys to get up here, and he cares about his community, and he's a family man and works really hard and took the time. And it's a very difficult act to juggle. And I appreciate your time, Ben, and your passion for this community and all you do here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll echo that same comment. They didn't, I mean to snub you the other night when I mentioned Gaetano, but I think that was a brave thing. You stepped up and did it coming in green and not knowing much, but you've been involved with some stuff around town, so you had some idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Same here also, here. It's a time commitment.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of involvement, and let's say, some of the people like you and some of the people hate you, but it's a job and do the best you can in the best interest of the community. So,
Yep. Thank you.
thank you for your service.
And on that note, you know, we have some folks running this year, and you care about your community and how things are run and how much it costs you to live here, and you want to get involved, best place to do it is to fill out a ballot and put your name on the ballot to sit in one of these seats on any committee, on either level. If you want to get involved, you know, we can all sit home and complain or get involved. So
At least just come to a meeting.
Right.
That's a good place to start.
you can be pretty effective sitting in the audience. That's right. That's it. We do not need an executive session. It's adjourned.
Seconded.
Motion to adjourn has been seconded. All those in favor, we'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll start the informational meeting. While we're here, we're just trying to get a dry run to how it's going to work on the business meeting Monday, March 1st. And all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We're here at the Fellows Hall, the Opera House, to prepare for our business meeting on Monday, March 1st, 2021. It'll be at 7 p.m. And I'm not sure if it'll be the same link. It will be the same link for Zoom.
Yes.
And what's the capacity allowed in here?
Right now, we have 75 that can attend in person in the lower bowl, and we haven't even talked about possibly putting people upstairs if we needed to.
So in my years past 75, you could still come here if you want on March 1st or attend through the Zoom link.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
the front door was locked. I had to go through the side door.
Oh, no.
All right. That's keys.
I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or not, but.
No, it was supposed to be unlocked,
We came in it, so it must have locked behind us, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Pick any chair you want, except the ones that are taped off.
Can you text Sue Hammond the link, the meeting number?
Excuse me?
Can you text Sue Hammond the meeting number? I don't have her.
I will. So Sue's, is it on the website? How did all these other people find it?
Do you have her number?
Not really.
Up here, it's the same one as tonight, it's right on your agenda. Okay. Get your agenda number right there.
No, it's a different one for this meeting.
Oh,
Right?
It's a different one.
different one, okay.
I don't, you don't have her email?
Do you have her phone number?
No, I don't think that's her, well, her, sure. Talk to the crowd, Peter. No, we're up to.
Gaetano?
Yes, sir.
The link is on the rockbf.org page, right at the top, on the landing page. That's how.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And it was different from our special meeting link. So we do have hard copies of the annual report. They're available for pickup in, I believe, the normal spots. I'm not completely sure where they'll be. They'll be here, they'll be at Leasey's, where else?
Saxon's River.
Saxton's
Market.
River Market.
We left them at the bookstore, in the square, here at Town Hall. The library, since it's not open, unfortunately, we can't pick up a
Microphone,
hard
please.
copy.
What, you want to?
Yeah.
And this is Scott Pickup, in case anyone hasn't been paying attention. He's the municipal manager here. He's gonna let us know about where we can find the reports, anything else he feels like addressing.
Right, so we do have hard copies right now. We did distribute them out to Leasi's, both locations. We also, Saxon's River Market. We have them here in Town Hall, so anybody wants to come in Monday through Thursday, we're available there. I believe that was it, Shannon.
The bank entryway,
We did that, okay, and
the
also at the
bookstore,
entryway to the bank and at the bookstore.
police department.
And I suppose, if you, yeah, there's also a vestibule at the PD, where they're also available. The town clerk had asked that couple of items. First of all, if you do want an absentee ballot, please get in touch with her, either call her or email her. She will get that out to you. What she did ask is that when you do, you'll get a ballot. It will look something like this. You'll have multiple colors for different organizations. When you're done voting, the one thing she does ask is that when you put your ballots inside the envelope, please make sure you sign this envelope before you put it in this additional mailing envelope, because if the ballot is not signed, my understanding is it's not valid. So it's kind of important for folks to take the time and double check and make sure you sign this inside envelope when you're submitting those back for consideration. She can take ballots up until 7 o'clock, I believe, at the night of the voting. So anytime that you're available and you want to try to get your ballots and get it back to us, your vote will be counted. So that was the one item. The other item is we are doing Australian ballot this year. We do have a handout available. We'll keep a handout available for folks that might be coming in person, just describing the process of how that works. It's a little different, I think, than the normal process for a town meeting. So if there are some questions or concerns, we will be working through all of these issues on the Australian ballot process. So those are the principal things I have. I think if there was any specific questions about what's contained in the warning, certainly part of the informational meeting is there is an opportunity if people did have questions that we could try to provide some information prior to the meeting on the 1st. So.
Other questions?
Does anyone have any questions at this time? We're kind of, so since we've been here, like we had to work out a little audio. I think I already said this, we had a special select board meeting before this. So basically it's a dry run to make sure how it works for the folks at home, if they can hear and see and be involved for those who can't make it. I do have a question in the audience, and then we'll check with the Zoom audience. Yes, ma'am. We need a microphone, so we don't have a portable one right now.
She'd have to step up to the podium.
Would you mind coming to the podium to use the mic? That'd be great.
Will we have the runners here on?
We will have
We
portables
will,
available
yeah.
for the meeting.
Well, we'll have portable, but we won't have runners. They have to stand in one place, and it has to be a circumference that is within 6 feet of anybody.
Okay,
I was gonna say, how do we make sure these are disinfected?
for COVID.
We'll have.
So just, you don't have to get too close to it, but,
Question I have is, at the other meeting the other night, it was announced that handouts would be available at this meeting and at the town meeting. And are those available? Because I didn't come through the lobby.
Well, we do have
I have that already.
you do have the town report?
Yeah, I'm looking specifically for the audit.
The audit is not completed. It'll be available prior to the meeting. So we did meet with the auditors today. They do not have the audit prepared in time for us to be able to distribute it tonight.
Because the statute says it has to be available 10 days prior. That's tomorrow.
And they've been working remotely, and unfortunately, they didn't complete it in time for me to have it this evening. So we're trying to meet the statutory obligation, because they're also under COVID restrictions in time for us to have it tonight.
Statute says it has to
on websites and other locations as quickly as we can.
Does that, I mean, how does that impact the town meeting? Because you don't have the report. We have no financial information that we're required to have by statute. And I know that other towns like Chester got theirs done at the end of October. Is it a problem with the company that?
There is not a problem with the company, but hopefully we will get a draft audit out by tomorrow, which will be in compliance.
Right.
We're doing the best we can, but the state and the governor has extended stuff in regards to this because of COVID. So.
They have?
Well, I don't know specifically, but for instance, for minutes and.
Well, I know they're for minutes, but that's a whole different story than you don't really know for sure that they have for the audit.
No, and we're trying to meet our deadline for tomorrow. We're doing the best that we can.
Can you send out a notice? I mean, I've got my contact information because we were told to bring that and I brought my contact information. How can we know that the audit is available to pick up tomorrow?
Well, first of all, the offices are closed tomorrow, so anything that we do, we'll put it on electronically. It'll be on the website. And then we'll hopefully have at least handout or after Monday, when we're back open, we should have some available in the town offices during normal business hours.
Okay, well, I'll contact the town office on Monday. I forgot tomorrow was Friday.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, no problem.
Put an announcement perhaps tomorrow on the website, just
Yes.
to let everyone know.
Yeah, and I think people want, most
Yep.
people aren't going to be able to print their own out. So to be able to know that you can pick it up here is important.
I'd like to know if everyone at home can hear. Someone who has a good,
I can hear you quite clearly, sir.
Yeah.
everyone, audience.
Yep,
and the
sounds good.
audience member?
Yes.
Excellent. Anyone on Zoom have a question? And I hope y'all heard that question and I hope y'all heard the answer.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Doug
Yes, sir.
McPhee. I just got the report an hour or so ago, at least so I have not gone through it, but Article 7, the special appropriations, that has grown to a large amount of money. I realize that every one of those organizations do a great service to the citizens of the town of Rockingham, but $92,000 for functions the town is not required to do. And certainly, every one of them, and I have been associated with 4 or 5 of them on that list, on the board of directors of 2 of them at one time, but one of them especially, Meeting Water YMCA, does a great service to the youth of this community, but left this town with a derelict building, and yet they're still on the list for $5,000. Have you and the board, I know when I was on the board years ago, we eliminated some of these from going to the voters. Have you decided just to accept them all?
At this time we have, and I do know that that question has come up every single year I've sat on this board with the same reasoning that you've mentioned. In fact, I don't believe they're even operating in this town at all. Did they move out of the, so,
Can I respond?
You gotta come up. Can you come up?
So every 3 years, each individual service agency is listed on the article separately, and they're all approved separately. So next year, each service agency would be listed separately and voted on separately, but it's only done every 3 years. So that could be a time where the residents eliminate some of the service agencies themselves too.
yeah, and to echo that, Mr. McPhee, I don't believe we can ask them to reduce it. We can either accept it or deny it. So I think it's up to the voters from here, and hopefully separating them can be more specific to folks' concerns about what you've mentioned here.
I mean, it's, and each one of those organizations, again, do a service to our citizens. But we as and taxpayers of the town of Rockingham have a responsibility for certain items, roads, schools, and $94,000 would pave a few roads, or at least to give a good start. I mean, I hate to eliminate some of them, but maybe it's time we talk to them on trying to obtain their funding from other sources other than the taxpayers of the town of Rockingham. But I probably will be hung from the rafters tomorrow for those comments. But I have one more question, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Delinquent taxes. I realize it's a difficult year. It's a sizable amount of money. Or unless it's changed, I realize this was back on what, January something or other, 31st, that this amount was here. It's probably, and may have grown since then because didn't we have a payment? But in this difficult times, we certainly need to be on top of delinquent taxes, try and assist people where we can. But, you know, a couple of properties on this list we're all very familiar with. That I'm not sure when you put them up for tax sale if you'd ever receive the amount of money to pay the taxes in a couple of cases. But just a point of record, and I'm sure you're on top of it, but we need to be very much aware of delinquent taxes in this pandemic. And I probably will have a bunch more questions, but I just got the report, and thank you.
Yep, so if you want, I saw Shannon move up here, and she answered that question for us not long ago, and she can give you an update to where we're at with that if you'd like, or.
Yeah, please, I would, because I think it's something we all need to be concerned about. In some cases, people are going to have trouble. It's difficult times. In other cases, people are going to take advantage of the situation. If you would, please, Shannon.
Absolutely. So that number is a total number, and the majority of it is in agreements with the town and on a payment plan to get caught up. There are a variety of accounts. I think there's 15 total that could potentially go to tax sale, but as the board agreed, this is not the year to do a tax sale during a pandemic. You cannot evict anybody. You can't, you know, anything like that. So although this is a larger number, a lot of it is in agreements and monthly payment plans that people continue to pay on time.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then I just want to add back to your statement, you know, the hard questions have to be asked, and it's folks like you and me and some others that will do that, and it's important because we have to ask those tough questions. And you said it 4 times in your presentation that you support most of those things and are involved in half of them, but it's important that we have to ask these questions from time to time. So I appreciate that. You want to add something to that, Peter? YMCA. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Scott said you can get your absentee ballot to the town clerk by 7 p.m. How does one do that after the town offices are closed? Is there a drop-off box or something? What's going on with that?
On that day, on voting day, to the Masonic Temple, to the poll at 7. Correct. On the other days, normal business hours for the town hall.
All right, so if you have an absentee ballot and the mail is going very slow, I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that, but I am. And you haven't mailed it by, let's say, next Thursday or something, and you want to get it in by 7 p.m., as you said, where can you take it after town hall is closed?
So on that day?
Yeah, on
or
that.
after 7?
On that.
On March 1st. I'm sorry?
Scott said you can turn in your absentee ballot up to 7 p.m. on election day. Is that correct or not?
At the poll.
That is correct. On that day of March 1st, at the poll.
Second.
March 2nd. not first.
That day at the poll. If you turn it in March 1st or previous days, it will be during normal business hours at the
Right,
town
right.
hall.
Okay, so your absentee ballot isn't any different than showing up to vote at the poll, basically, after town hall closes on March 2. Right?
Don't forget, the 1st of March is that Monday, so we are open. So if somebody has decided by the Thursday prior that they don't believe that their ballot's going to count, then suggest if they're not coming to the polls to vote in person, then they would certainly want to bring it to the town hall on March the 1st in order to have someone available so that they could be counted and make sure that it's, counted for the total.
Okay, so you really only have until town hall closes on March 2 to get your absentee ballot into town hall, right?
Second, they can be brought to the Masonic Temple until 7
So
p.m.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, Bonnie, but I've said it 3 times. They can bring it to the ballot at the Masonic Temple up until 7 p.m. That's the time of on
Right,
March 2nd.
Right, but if you don't want to go to the Masonic Temple,
You should get it in the mail. I would do it earlier than Thursday because the mail goes to this post office up to White River and back to this post
I
office.
understand that, yeah. I just tried to clarify that because Scott said you could get your absentee ballot in by 7, but you really, if you want to do absentee, you have to be in before town hall closes on March 2. Right?
Normal business hours up until March 1st. And the day of, if for some reason you haven't got it in, and I'm not sure, but I'll even bet there's a guy who works the polls would probably pick it up if somebody didn't want to go there. But I would encourage people to get it in early. And if for some reason they can, on March 2nd, till 7 p.m., they can turn it in at the poll.
Right. Okay, just trying to get that clear. Thank you very much.
Gaetano, I have a question. This is Susan.
And just to be clear, the town offices will not be open at all. Huh?
Just the clerks for
The
voting.
clerk on March 2nd. She'll be doing her job at the poll.
All right, so wait a minute. So that means if you want to turn in an absentee ballot, you have to turn it in on March 1st, not 2nd, correct?
The Masonic Temple on March 2nd. That's where Kathleen will be until 7
Right,
o'clock.
but that's just like voting in person, essentially.
It sure is. I wouldn't wait until March 1st.
All right, I'm just trying to get clear on that because I know a lot of people are counting on absentee balloting. So it just ought to be made exactly clear when you have to get that ballot in. You really don't have until 7 on the 2nd, unless you want to appear in person at the Masonic Temple on the 2nd. And that's correct, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's correct. It's 300 yards from the town hall. So if you come that far, you would also walk it up to the.
I'm sure somebody can come out curbside and pick up the ballot from the JPs or somebody. If they have to.
I know there's a JP that offers rides to folks, so I don't know what the law is with picking up someone's ballot, but I would not encourage people to wait till March 1st unless they plan on coming in person on the 2nd. Make sure they get them in before that Thursday if they're going in the mail. The mail is very slow, slower than normal. That would be what I would encourage those folks, Bonnie, if possible.
Okay, thank you. Just trying to make this clear for everyone, because if there was a box outside that you could go put that in up until 7 p.m., that would be absentee balloting. But if after 4 o'clock or whatever on Monday, the 1st, you have to come and basically wait in line and go into the Masonic Temple, that's a little bit different. So just trying to make that clear, that's all.
Okay.
Crystal.
Someone else was next, I'm sorry. Was that Susan Hammond?
Yeah, I had a question, just technically, how is this gonna happen when people have questions? Is Ray gonna go through the warning? And we're not voting, obviously, but are they gonna say, does anyone have any discussion about this particular article? How is that technically gonna work?
I believe that's correct, Susan, and then similar to tonight, he'll look in the audience. I would say in person would have the first choice, and then we'll go to Zoom for questions or comments on that article. Everyone here is nodding their head in agreement with me.
Okay, great. That's how I thought it was going. I just wanted people to know that they have to ask questions about the articles in sequential order like we do normally.
Yes, absolutely. What I wonder is through Zoom, isn't there, like, maybe there could be some kind of order. So if 6 people want to ask a question on Article 7, whoever, raise your hand in a certain order, because there could be some good discussion, you know, so everyone know how to raise your hand. Go ahead and give it a try. Look at that. Any other questions about the meeting, the information you have so far, how things are going to work, where you need to go, what time?
This is Laurel Green. I have a question.
Hi there, yes.
Just on the thing about raising hands, it would be really helpful if a person is going to be attending via Zoom to know that there's somebody there keeping track of the order that people are raising their hands, and perhaps say that into the mic so that we can all know what the speaking order is going to be. Have a monitor, somebody monitoring that and announcing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon will do that. I'm not sure how you'd like her to announce it, as you'd have to wait for the last person to raise their hand.
The raise hand function keeps track of the order.
The raise hand function keeps track of the order, I'm being
If
informed.
they just raise their hand,
And then-
wait for me to call on them.
And then just wait for Shannon to call on them.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I also think it would be helpful if people would show their picture when they have questions, so you are aware that it is Doug McPhee, not Joe Blow.
I agree with that.
Deb has a question.
No pictures of your cats.
I'm not the
Yeah.
handsomest devil in the world, so I do like to mute the picture, but I think it's important that you are aware that it is Doug McPhee or Bonnie North or whoever is raising the question.
One response to that, though, is some people put the video off because their internet connection isn't strong enough, and the quality is better if you're without video.
Photos.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, Susan, but that does to me present the problem of a town meeting so that Mr. Masuko, whoever the chairman is, knows it's Doug McPhee in the audience, but on Zoom, and I think the voters of the town of Rockingham are all good, reliable people, but I think it's important that citizens are recognized, non-citizens recognized only with the consent of the body, and things like the rules that apply there. But again, it's not a huge deal, and I didn't realize it was a problem with when you don't have a high,
What could happen is they could start when they're called on to speak, they can turn on the video so the moderator can confirm it is the person that is speaking. And then they could shut it down if they do have an internet connection issue, the video part. But at least confirm it's you as they're called upon.
I like that idea, because as we know, if you stand behind the wall or you're not a resident, you can attend but not participate. Not voting on anything, but we'd also like to make sure that you are a legal resident here. So that's good information. We will do that. We'll see. Hopefully everyone is strong enough to prove their identity. And so sitting here now, I can see 2 hands raised. That's kind of neat. Yeah, but I don't know who went first, but I'm hearing Deborah.
Thanks. I'll put my video on for a moment. I wanted to ask a question about the report. I am concerned that in typical years, it has always been 3 years back and 1 year shows the actual and then the current fiscal year and then the proposed fiscal year. So that we could actually see how the budget has been running. But what I see here is 4 fiscal years, with the 4th one, of course, being the proposed budget we'll be voting on March 1st, and no actuals to see how the actual budget lines are running. I'm concerned why that wasn't done this year. Just a question.
Got both of them coming to answer that, Deb.
So the only reason that this happened this year is because the audit isn't done yet, and we didn't want to publish false numbers. So we are going to give out informational graphs and charts and handouts, and as well as the audit, but we didn't want to have the numbers not be accurate.
My response to that is last year's report listed the column, the actual column, as an unaudited column, another unusual thing I'd never seen before, but it was listed as an unaudited actual number.
It was, and we did not, and it doesn't now match our audit. So next year, we're hoping to have the audit done much earlier, and then there will be actual numbers in the actual line, but printing unaudited numbers that are not accurate doesn't really benefit anybody. You can't reflect back on the town report.
Thank you.
Betsy, did you have your hand up? Hi there. It's really you.
Yes, it is really me. I know I don't have great service. That's why I keep mine off. I just wanted to mention if people could introduce themselves when they speak. That's a major thing when you're watching it from the computer.
Yes, for the reporters, and if everyone tonight, board members, guests, citizens, just can state your first and last name, maybe even slowly, would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Laurel, are you trying to lower your hand?
Now I have my hand up. Laurel Green, resident in Bellows Falls. My question is regarding those supplemental papers, the audited actuals that were just mentioned. Will those be available ahead of time for people who cannot come to the public meeting? Because in my case, I'm a senior and my date is not yet set for getting vaccinated, so I'd rather not come to a large public meeting. Can I get my hands on those, or will they be in the town website, or is there going to be some source for that?
The question was asked earlier, and we'll repeat the answer now. I'll let Scott address it.
So yes, we'll have it available on the website for electronic copies, as well as we will have copies available in town hall prior to the meeting. So we will have those next week, and then we will have, again, additional sets available for the meeting on the 1st, as well as some updated financial handouts as Shannon had reflected on previously. And anything that's a item for the meeting will also be on the website for people as well.
I have a recommendation as I'm facing backwards this entire meeting. So if there's gonna be folks in the audience, maybe we should put that screen here. Why would the audience need to see that screen? Or we need a monitor or something. I'm facing this way.
Is that each of you bring your smartphone, log into the Zoom and mute it, and you can put it right in front of you.
Okay.
Because the audience is gonna wanna see the people who are talking or asking questions.
And then I had a Peter had his hand up, but I want to respond to Betsy. Are you able to see everyone's first and last name as presented on the screen? Is that also helpful for your question or just for the record?
Yes, that definitely helps. But it's people in the audience that speak as well. I know,
Correct.
especially the moderators, they know everybody in town, but a lot of us don't know.
They'll need to identify themselves. Yep.
And Gaetano, you'll have to, the moderator will have to ask people to change their profile so it puts their first and last name, because sometimes, I mean, you set that on Zoom. So that will have to be asked before we start the meeting, or as we start the meeting. And maybe tell people how to do it.
You have to do it at the beginning, so hopefully they maybe, you need to do it before you log in, or you're gonna have to log out and change your name.
So you
Right?
can do it during the meeting, and
Do
I
it during
can
the
do
meeting.
it for them if they want to chat me. If they don't know how to do it, they can just chat me and I'll change it for them.
Did y'all hear that? If they can do it, if they get in and having a hard time, they could put something in the chat. Shannon can do it for them. First and last name.
Laurel, if you're still listening, I want to ask Scott, pick up a question in relation to your concern about picking up the paperwork. If a resident calls in, can they get a copy mailed to them rather than having to come down to pick it up at town hall?
Of course.
They can't do that. They're a little nervous about doing that, as we just discussed with the slowness of mail, but we could certainly do that. They might be a little upset if they don't get it in time, but I would, if somebody is really trying to get into the numbers and wants to spend time, it would make more sense to come and get it. But obviously we'll mail it if people do request that.
We can put that information too in the entryway downstairs in town hall on the table, so they don't even have, they can just come in with a few steps.
We will also put that, can you hear Shannon at home there?
It's hard.
Okay, so that information will also be put in the lobby in the town hall when it's ready for pickup. So is it gonna be a file on the website? Or is it all gonna be actual pages? It's gonna be a file people can click and view?
Correct, so you can click it, you'll be able to click into, right now the town clerk there.
Hmm?
You'll be able to click into the audit and
Okay.
then the handout, it'll be a little red link, you can click on it and it'll open it right up.
So it'll be a separate file on the town website when they get it. I'm just repeating Shannon's
It'll be on
answer.
the front.
It'll be on the front page when it's ready. Anyone else? Anyone's hands up? We're off to a good start. I think the folks that came here tonight, we're learning as we go here in these challenging times we live in here. So I did say in the beginning, for those who didn't hear me, we can seat 75 people in here. Every other aisle is taped off. Excuse me. If you're able and willing, you are able to come here. 75 people in the audience. Sections are taped off. For those attending Zoom, we'll need a first and last name. We would maybe suggest logging in a bit early. We should have the financials in a file on the website to view. We should have hard copies in the lobby as soon as they're ready. Get your mail-in ballots to Kathleen before 4:30 on Monday. She will be at the polling station all day until 7, March 2nd. And she will receive them there. I know it kind of is the same sense as going there to vote, but if you're in a jam and you decided you were gonna drop it off at the town hall and then it became 5 o'clock and you missed it and it's Tuesday, you can bring it to the Masonic Temple. kind of the information we've covered.
The only other thing I just wanted to bring to the board's attention, and also anybody on the Zoom link, as well as anybody else that's going to be attending in person on the 1st, because of Vermont state guidelines for gatherings, we will be asking people as they come in, and we'll have a controlled entry and a controlled exit for the space, that they give us telephone or email information. And the only reason we're asking for that information is because if there is a need for contact tracing, it's a requirement of the state health department that we collect that as you enter the building. So it is not any item that we're collecting for any other purpose than to meet the Vermont state guidelines in order for us to have people in person to come to the town meeting. So I just want to bring that to everyone's attention, and hopefully that people will understand and cooperate, and we can all, work through the guidelines and have a appropriate, ability to get everybody in here safely, and then hopefully not have a problem complying with all the guidelines. So thank you.
Mr. McPhee,
Yes.
you have your hand up?
I do. I just figured out how you do that. Thank you. I hope to attend the meeting in person, but I just want to say that I personally, there are two of you gentlemen not seeking re-election, if I'm correct, that you, Mr. Chairman Gaetano, and Ben Mashore, and I just want to personally thank you both for your service to this community. I know you both will continue some service to this community in other ways, but thank you, gentlemen, very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
We're not going anywhere. Take a little break. Deb, right. Yes, yes, we have one in the audience, Deb. Oh, you did have your hand up, I'm not sure.
Participants in this hunting sport.
Yes, I put my hand back up. I wanted to put the delinquent report that, I'm sorry?
Hold on. I have a question in the audience. They're making their way down.
Oh, my apologies.
That's okay.
I actually don't have a question. I was just thinking what Mr. Pickup said about having to provide your name and telephone number. I thought we had to do that tonight, and to make the process faster, people coming to the meeting might want to put it on an index card so they can hand it to someone at the door. It might make things faster and keep things separated more. That's all.
Good.
Did everyone at home hear that?
Yes.
If not, I had a great suggestion to put your information on an index card. Less touching, quicker, safer policy. Yes, ma'am. That's right. Muted, you're muted.
Yes, I'm muted. I was trying to put Mr. McPhee's comments earlier about the delinquent tax report in perspective. So I opened up last year's, and despite the fact that there may be people on here who have contracts and agreements to make payments, the delinquent report from last year was $304,000, and that was with the heavy green on there. With that taken off, it is now $374,000, and it was $40,000 for the heavy green, approximately, with give or take a few $100, and it's still up by $74,000 more, or $70,000 more. And there are a number of people on here who've been on here for years, and their taxes have gone up, not gone down. And some are businesses. For instance, the Green Mountain Specialties, which have been out of the Robertson paper mill for years, and that building is no longer in place, and yet nothing has been done to collect on them. I understand the whole point about tax years. We didn't do one last year. We didn't do one the year before. We aren't doing one this year, most likely, because due to COVID and those concerns. But there are some businesses and peoples who have been on this for many years, and this is still not been corrected, and we're up $70,000 this year. That's putting it in perspective from last year's.
Thank you very much. I mean, my recollection was, it seems like we've discussed this every year. This board here has also raised that same question, and we've been told different things in times, and that we were going to try to do it in-house. So I don't have the answer other than what was stated earlier, and thank you for those numbers, Deb. And I don't have the answer to that. Anyone else? Any other questions? We'll have a lot more discussion, you know, at the business meeting, kind of a dry run. See if everything works. We're glad you're all here. We look forward to seeing you. Encourage everyone to get out and vote.
One question, Scott, do you know if there's gonna be a collection box in the lobby again for absentee ballots? I know the one time they kept having one down there.
I think Kathleen said yes.
That's just another thing, because they don't want to come up all the way up the stairs, they can drop it in the box.
Yeah. At this point, she hasn't committed to having one like we had with the other elections, but I will double check and let people know if we can put it out there.
Thank you.
Because she has only put out so many in the mail so far.
Anything else? I think we've done our duties here tonight, and staff will get that information as soon as they can. Recommend bringing your information for contact tracing on an index card. Same thing, spell your first and last name, raise your hand, be polite, be respectful, work hard. Anything else? Anything from you? Good? Okay, thank you all for coming this evening, and we'll see you next time. I mean, there'll be an update if the paperwork isn't in. I'm sure there'll be an update on the website as to what's going on and when we'll have it. Thank you. Good night.